this offensive line is embarrassing. And it's ridiculous that it looks this bad after all that time, the entire offseason. And it was like, this is a great move at wide receiver. This is a great move here and this and that. And it's like, this is all you did on the interior of the offensive line this entire time. And the next time I see the center and the guards pick up a stunt will be the first time, because it's been an absolute disaster from a communication standpoint. And I cannot stand how many times I have seen 2, sometimes 3 guys blocking one dude while the other guy comes around completely unblocked and hitting this prize rookie quarterback you have. I mean, Caleb Williams has definitely not been perfect through his first 2 games, but I basically put none of the blame on him tonight, because these are awful conditions to be trying to make any plays in. They can't run the ball. And then once that was established, DeMeco Ryans smartly in the second half was like, well, we're just going to keep heating it up. Blitz after blitz after blitz after blitz, because they can't block it when we rush 4. We might as well send even more and rattle this rookie quarterback. It is an absolute shit show up front. That's just what it is. Yeah. It needs to be fixed immediately. And quite frankly, okay, fine. It's 2 games. You can fix things. You can get better as the season goes along. I don't know how they do that right now without personnel changes. And those personnel changes look bleak. Unless it's, all right, Matt Pryor's a 7-year veteran. Get him in there. See what he can do. It's got to be something like that, because this cannot continue. Forget the wins and losses. This is going to end up being a disaster for Caleb Williams' rookie season if they don't get this figured out immediately, like next week.
So thank you for starting there, because I think that's where everybody is at. And look, Ryan Poles came here. He is the former offensive lineman who's the offensive line guru. Anyone could have looked at this and been like, wait, hold on a second. Your plan is to trade a 4th-round pick to Buffalo for Ryan Bates, a good organization is willing to give him up, and you're going to put him at center, which he's barely played, and, we're going to go sign Coleman Shelton as your insurance policy? And then the guard you draft in the 3rd round, who may or may not play, but he can't play because he's not healthy, and he's basically having a redshirt season. Dude. And then the coaching staff, you guys are like the hits philosophy. Nate Davis is the opposite of the hits philosophy. He has been the entire time he's here. Pick Matt Pryor, Bill Murray, Doug Kramer. Anyone. By the way, both of them, Sheldon and Nate Davis, need to go.
I'll take Bill Murray from Caddyshack over what we saw tonight. I'm telling you, honestly, that was awful. That was one of the worst offensive line performances I've seen. I think maybe 2012, when I played for the Bears, the night that we played Colin Kaepernick on, I believe it was Monday Night Football.
Oh, yeah, I was
and
there.
Aldon Smith had 6 sacks himself. They had like 8 sacks in that game. Offensive line got destroyed. But Caleb Williams didn't have a shot tonight. Like, you do not want to ruin your rookie quarterback because your offensive line can't hold up. And that's what we saw today. Like, Nate Davis passing off games, that's a simple thing, right? You pass it off, and then you react off it. He had his head burrowed into the guy and then trying to react back. It's simple football. The effort's not there. We saw the play that they kept re-looping online where he literally whiffed on a guy on the line of scrimmage, then goes down the field, whiffs on 2 more guys. Swift could have broke a really long run on that, and I think it just comes down to effort and want to, because a couple years ago when he played on the Titans, he was a dog. I mean, he was driving people down the field. I don't think his head's in football right now. I'm just being honest, right? Last year he lost his mother, unfortunately. Like, we're giving him the benefit of the doubt to recover. It just doesn't seem like he wants to be out there. And I think you have to make the switch at this point, because early on in the game, Caleb played pretty well, right? He was getting the ball out. There was rhythm. There was timing with the throws. And then all of a sudden, once you dropped him back, the O-line couldn't hold up. So you just don't want to ever put your rookie quarterback that's developing, that's growing, to create bad habits because of the offensive line.
Rhythm and timing, we can get into a ton here too. Shane Waldron, we're going to be talking about you. But Gregor, what do you got? What's your thoughts?
Well, I mean, this is where we're at every year of my life. It's the play caller. It's the O-line. It's the quarterback. Welcome to the circle of hell that we've lived in our entire lives every single year. This will never end. It's an endless cycle. At the end of the day, one of my biggest concerns is the run game. It's something that's going to help a rookie quarterback is a healthy run game. and they can't seem to find their footing in the run game. DeAndre Swift at this point is a non-factor, and we all anticipated he would have a much bigger effect on this team early on, at least from what we saw at training camp. I thought that they kept Chris Morgan, the offensive line coach, because they wanted to keep their outside zone.
They promoted him.
Right. He's a running game coordinator now because they wanted to keep the outside zone system. But this offensive line looks like they aren't comfortable trying to run the outside zone system that Shane Waldron is trying to run. It doesn't make sense to me. I know Teven Jenkins is a good offensive lineman when he's healthy because I've seen it. But now all of a sudden he looks out of place. Nate Davis, obviously, that goes without saying that Nate Davis should be replaced. And I think that they thought about that many times here in the last few weeks, in the last month at training camp. But even Teven Jenkins doesn't look right now. Like, these guys aren't being able to stretch out far enough to make their blocks. Tight ends are missing stuff all over the place. At the end of the day, if they can't get the run game going and then they're putting everything on Caleb's shoulders to make a play, you're going to get the results that you got where Caleb Williams got his ass kicked in the second half.
We all silly like the mayor.